Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. How is the government's national platform for economic growth and jobs backing Australians to work, save and invest? And will the Treasurer please update the House on the latest OECD report on positive signals within the Australian economy?
Treasurer. Treasurer has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Petrie for his question and his strong interest, obviously, in growing jobs and growing our economy, particularly in his electorate. The OECD overnight once again indicated that the global conditions for global economic growth remain tough. They do, but while we cannot control what happens in the global economy, I should say, Mr Speaker, while we cannot control what happens in the global economy, we can control what our own policy settings are here at home to support jobs and to support growth. And this is what we are doing, Mr Speaker, with our strong national platform for jobs and growth in the Australian economy. We are focusing on the issues that will enable that growth. And the OECD, Mr Speaker, said that our economic policy priorities, that what we are doing in terms of proposing structural reforms, adds to what they describe as upside risks, which means it's good for the economy. The OECD is saying that what we're doing to address real reforms, real changes that improve our economic performance are good for the economy. The OECD is forecasting for Australia to return to trend growth. That's what they're forecasting. They are forecasting and have confirmed that in the last year our economy grew at more than the OECD average, and it grew at more than twice the rate of commodities-based economies like Canada. And that is in the face of what the Reserve Bank Governor said very clearly was about as intense of headwinds as they are likely to get. So in the face of those very intense headwinds, our economy is growing. But they said more, Mr Speaker. They said there have been positive signals on business confidence, on profits and credit growth in the non-resource sectors. They said unemployment will begin to trend downwards as rebalancing the economy towards non-commodity sectors continues, Mr Speaker. They said the OECD describes the initiatives underway to strengthen infrastructure as welcome, and they support the government's focus on fiscal repair, stating that medium-term fiscal planning must remain strongly committed to putting the debt-to-GDP ratio on a downward track, which is what this government is doing, Mr Speaker. We won't be doing it by raising taxes. We'll be doing it by growing the economy and controlling expenditure. It's those opposite who believe you balance a budget by making sure your revenue is higher than your expenditure. On this side of the House, we seek to do it by ensuring expenditure is less than the revenue, Mr Speaker. The OECD also supports the government's focus on improving Australia's tax system, saying it would significantly improve, Mr Speaker. It says the focus on tax system would significantly improve the growth-friendliness of Australia's tax system. That's what we're about, Mr Speaker, working with the states and territories, working with the various groups that are out there to support strong growth in jobs and our economy, and a better tax system that doesn't put a higher burden on Australians, but it releases them and removes the impediments in the tax system to support growth and jobs is what we're about.